Hello, and welcome back to Talking Teens Official. I'm Nural, and I'm so glad you can join me and your listening ears. Today we're talking about one of the most difficult and most important skills we can teach our kids, the genuine art of an apology. We've all been there. You've asked your teenager or your child to apologise for something and you get a mumbled sorry that feels completely empty. It can be infuriating. But what I want to start with is a really important idea. Most of the time, especially with younger teenagers, their inability to apologise, doesn't come from a place of malice. It's not that they don't feel guilty or bad. It's that they often lack the emotional capacity and the vocabulary to express those complex feelings. They're not sociopaths lacking in empathy. They're just apprentices in the art of being human. And they need a better teacher than a parent demanding the word sorry. So if demanding sorry doesn't work, what does? The answer lies in something called a restorative conversation. My take on a restorative approach is that it is a structured, often mediated, but not always, conversation that focuses on restoring relationships, hence the name Restorative Conversation. The goal isn't punishment. It is to repair the harm caused and have the person who did the wrong understand its impact. It's a shift away from the old action equals consequence, do the crime, do the time model. Consequences still exist, but they only come after both sides have had a chance to speak, listen, and understand. To understand why this restorative approach is so necessary, we first need to be able to spot the common non-apologies that our teens and our children, and let's be honest, we adults too, use to get out of trouble. Here are the 4 I see most often. Number 1, the reflex sorry. This is the one that just comes out as a reflex. The word sorry is said, but there's no actual understanding of what they're sorry for. It's a verbal tick to end the conversation and move on. It's not an act of remorse. It's just yeah, I'm sorry, all right? Okay, I said sorry, done. Then there's number 2, the transactional sorry. This is the classic, I said sorry, so you can't be mad at me anymore. All right, I've already apologised. The apology here isn't about making the other person feel better or understanding their feelings. It's a get out of jail free card. It's a transaction designed to clear their own conscience. And then there's number 3. I call it the ghosting apology. If you've ever been ghosted by someone, you'll know how this feels. Sometimes the teenager or the child doesn't apologise at all. They just disappear or ghost the person they've wronged. This isn't usually born again from malice, but it's born out of fear. They're genuinely scared because they don't have the words or are worried about the confrontation. They just don't want to deal with it, so it's better if I just slip away quietly into the shadows and you'll never hear from me again. This is the apology that kind of leaves people feeling undervalued. And the last one is the hands-off apology. This is the apology that's sent via text, email, social media, or any other way where you don't have to deal with someone face-to-face. It's convenient, but it's often too far removed to feel sincere. It's a low-stakes way to say the word without having to face the real-time emotional impact on the other person. Recognizing these non-apologies is probably the first step, and I feel like everyone has probably seen those before. The second and perhaps the most crucial step is knowing when to have a conversation. And I just want to be clear in saying this. When I'm talking about having a restorative conversation or a restorative approach, I want to steer away from what some of the old school thinkers out there might see and might interpret this as being a woke approach, because it is not. The biggest mistake we can make in trying to reinforce our restorative conversation is right in the heat of the moment. It is essential to wait. This isn't about avoiding the issue. It's about making sure the conversation is actually productive, the one you're about to have. When we are angry or upset, our bodies are flooded with stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. It's that fight or flight response. You simply cannot have a logical, empathetic conversation with anyone until those hormone levels drop back down to what scientists call homeostasis, which is your body's natural calm state, the natural neutral state. By giving everyone, including yourself, time to cool down, you allow everyone to process their feelings without being forced. Announcing a time to talk later, like, let's talk about this after dinner, gives everyone the space they need to be ready for a real calm conversation. All right, so now I just want to run you through a typical kind of scenario that many parents have had to deal with. So everyone is calm and you're ready to sit down and have a little bit of a mediation session. To make things crystal clear, I want to walk through a role play, and I want you to imagine a scene which you've probably dealt with yourself at home. Imagine there's 15-year-old Mia and she has interrupted her 13-year-old little brother Ben. She's an annoying big sister. Ben was on a video call with his friends and Mia walked in making fun of his new haircut. Ben got upset, yelled at her, doors were slammed and he logged off. Now you're sitting down with both of them going, what the hell has just happened? All right, so the first thing I want you to do is I want everyone to be calmed down first. So if you go, Mia, you go to your room, Ben, you go to your room, and I'll come and have a chat to you and we'll talk about this later. Give them their time to calm down. And once they're calmed down, I want you to go and have a chat with Mia first, the one who caused the harm, the one who made her little brother upset. And I want you to say to her, Mia, thanks for talking about this. I want to ask you some questions and I want Ben to be here too. Are you willing to have a conversation with me and Ben about what happened? And she'll be like, oh, yeah, if I have to. And you'll go, all right, Mia, thanks for talking about this. Ben, I'm going to ask you to listen quietly, first of all, and you'll get your turn to speak. Really important. You let everyone know that they're going to have their turn to speak. But at this point in time, Mia is talking and Ben is listening. And then those roles are going to be reversed. So Ben, I'll ask you to listen quietly and then you'll have your turn to speak. Mia, tell me what happened. Well, Ben was on his video call and he looked kind of serious. So I just went behind him and just pulled a face and did some stupid stuff behind him. And then I said, his new haircut kind of looked like a bird's nest. It was a joke. Okay, Mia. And what were you thinking at that time? Like, what made you do that? Well, I was just thinking like it would be funny. Like, Ben gets so serious sometimes. And I just wanted to lighten the mood. Like, I didn't think his friends would really care. Okay, Mia. All right. Who has been affected by what you have done, by going behind Ben, making faces and saying his haircut looks like a bird's nest? I suppose, like Ben. Okay. In what way do you think Ben has been affected? Like, how do you think that made him feel? Like, well, he's stupid. Like, he got really mad. He just ended his call and went to his room. I guess he was embarrassed, because his friends saw me. Okay, Mia. Last question for you now. Why do you think you need to make things right with Ben? What do you think needs to happen? Oh, I don't know. I should probably go say sorry for interrupting his call and making fun of him and, picking on his stupid haircut. Yeah. Okay, Mia. Thank you. All right, Ben, it's your turn now. Thanks for being willing to talk about this, Ben. I'm going to ask you a few questions now. Ben, what were you thinking when this happened? Like, what's your interpretation of it? Well, I was just trying to have fun with my friends and then Mia just jumped in. I was thinking, oh no, here we go again. And I knew she was going to try and embarrass me. She's so annoying. She just wants to make fun of me all the time with my friends. Okay, Ben, what's been the hardest part for you? The hardest part was that all my friends laughed. It felt like they were laughing at me and not with me at all. They were on her side and not my side. And now I don't really want to go back on the call with them. It was really embarrassing. Okay. And what do you think needs to happen to make things right? What does Mia need to do? I want a real apology, not just a quick sorry. And I want her, more importantly, to promise she won't do it again when I'm on a call with my friends. Now that both sides have been heard, you can guide them to a resolution. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of us out there who have had to deal with situations like that before. Mia's already realised she needs to apologise, and Ben has stated what he needs that apology to look like. And then you can facilitate that final step, ensuring the apology is genuine and the agreement for future behaviour is clear to both of them. This creates a solution that isn't just a punishment, but it's a path forward that restores their relationships. There is always going to be issues in families with kids and sibling rivalry. This type of approach takes a little bit of practice. And I know it is tricky, but the clearest thing you need to be aware of is it is not a knee-jerk reaction. Mia jumped in, made fun of Ben in front of his friends, therefore Mia gets a punishment. Because what that does not allow Ben to have any kind of resolution besides seeing that reaction, when really he was looking for her to understand why he didn't like what she did. If you're listening to this and feeling like you could use some direct support, I want to extend an invitation to you. You can reach out to me directly through my Instagram page at Talking Teens Official. If you go to my profile and click the Learn More button, you'll find 3 short questions to complete. Once you do that, it will trigger a process for me to contact you to book in a free 30-minute Zoom call so we can chat about how best I can support you and your child and your teenager. You don't have to do this alone. So please, reach out. But there's one more piece to this puzzle. This is a final one, and it might be the most important one. We've talked a lot about how to teach our teenagers to apologise through a restorative type of approach. We've gone through the different types of non-apologies. But what about us? As parents, we actually have a powerful tool in modelling the behaviour we want to see. We are human. We make mistakes. We lose our tempers. We get it wrong. It just comes part of the whole package. How we handle those mistakes is actually a profound lesson for our kids. I know there are a lot of parents out there, especially from the old school train of thought, who feel that apologising to a child is unnecessary and it undermines their authority. But it's actually the opposite. I'm going to ask you, if you've done something majorly wrong to upset your teenager or your kid, I'm going to ask you to genuinely apologise to them. Because what you are doing there is you are giving them a masterclass in emotional intelligence. A masterclass in saying it's okay to make mistakes, but it's what we do with those mistakes afterwards is where the real learning lies. You are showing them that relationships are more important than being right. You are literally modelling how to handle conflict in a healthy way for their young developing minds. Thinking about this process reminds me of Sir Ken Robinson's passionate defence of the arts in education. Now, you know I'm a maths teacher, so here I am going to start talking about arts in education. He always argued that subjects like drama and literature, or even art, weren't frivolous extras. They were essential because they taught kids empathy. And this is how they do it. They are the subjects that teach us how to step into someone else's shoes and see the world from a different perspective. A genuine apology is a lot like a creative act. It is not about reciting a script. It's about using your imagination and creativity to truly feel what another person is feeling. When we guide our teenagers through a restorative conversation, we're actually giving them a practical lesson in the art of empathy, which is something that we as teachers need to see more of in the schools. We need to see more empathy and more emotional intelligence in the children that we are teaching. Next time on Talking Teens, we are moving away from apologies to another big topic. We are going to start talking about failure. We all tell our kids it's okay to fail, but do we actually teach them how to fail well? Join me as we explore how to help our teens move beyond their fear of failure and learn to use it as a powerful tool for growth. If you enjoyed this episode and want to continue the conversation, please follow me and subscribe on all social media channels. And if you find real value in what I'm doing here, please consider buying me a coffee. I'll put a QR code or a link in the comments and show notes, and you can actually donate any amount you choose. Every little bit helps fuel my late night coffee supply while I'm editing these episodes for you. Thank you for listening. This is Nural. You've been listening to Talking Teens Official. Until then, remember that focus. Connection over correction.